And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of, I just had a burger episode of This Is Our Life, and my hair is like, excuse me. Well, folks, World Cup is about a month away. World Cup starts on the 12th of next month, and it ends a month later. Now, we're not able to go to World Cup, but I'd love to go to World Cup. I am going to watch Spain win their second World Cup. Now, my wife is probably going to kill me before the end of World Cup finish, before the finish of World Cup, because I'm probably going to go mad watching, yelling, go! But we Europeans, eh? We love our football. And for those who don't know, the way my dad came into the United States was he played for the Victoria Wharf Rats, which is now it's a defunct club out of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and he had been a John is wanting to play fetch. He had been a stoker on ships. I mean, he was a merchant marine, just like my granddaddy, and he liked working on American ships because he said the Americans let him try things, they let him learn, they'd explain things to him, and ships under other flags, usually the crew weren't quite that way. So he wanted to work on American ships. That is to say, he wanted to work on ships under the U.S. flag. And so one day he decides he's going to go to Seattle. So he goes to cross the frontier, the border, and he has his back then people wore boots for playing football, not shoes the way they do now. And my gosh, I used to have a picture of him when he was a little thing, and the ball was as big as he was. He was the mascot for the club when he was little, and then when he was older, he played for the club. I don't know what position he played. And anyway, he gets to the border, and the border guard is like, "Where are you going, boy?" He says, "Sir, I have a match in Seattle." Yeah, I'm sure you do. He said, "No, sir, I really do. I have a match in Seattle." And the border guard okay, go ahead. And when he got out of sight of the border guards, he threw all his stuff away, went to the Merchant Marine Hall in Seattle and signed up. Then that was during the Korean War, and the United States government found out he was working in the United States illegally. So they told him he had to register for the draft or go back to Canada. What did he do? He joined the Army. Yep, my dad joined the Army. And then he went into the Navy after that, and then he went back into the Army. But during World War II, he served in the Canadian Merchant Navy, and my granddaddy served in the Canadian Navy. But both my dad and granddad were both stokers, ship's engineers. But anyway, so I have this long thing with football, and back home in Spain, one of our flats looked out over a football pitch, but they had a billboard up so you couldn't watch free matches. And the other flat we lived in looked over a bull ring, but they had a billboard up so you couldn't watch the fights. Not that I like bullfights, I don't like that. But anyway, so World Cup's coming up. Ireland's not in it for some reason. These are national teams. These aren't just regular clubs. So, Spain won their first World Cup last World Cup, and so I'm hoping they'll win again. The interesting thing is most of the Spanish players are actually a little smaller than a lot of the players on the other clubs, yet they're just as good. Sometimes even better. Lucky. And anyway, but so I mean, you know, I have my favorite clubs. Like my favorite is Celtic, Glasgow Celtic. Um, my favorite American club is DC United. European clubs, first is Glasgow Celtic, second is Madrid Royale, and then DC United is third, and Houston Dynamos would be fourth. I actually watched a match with the Dynamos, and I was like, wow. I was surprised. They were actually pretty good. They were supposed to be moving to San Antonio, but we were not willing to spend tax dollars on building them a stadium and paying for the club to be in San Antonio. Why would they need a stadium? There's the Alamo Dome. There's all sorts of stuff in San Antonio. So they went to Houston, which was actually fine. It's just it would have been nice to have had a professional football club in San Antonio. And up here it's the Revolution. They're out of Massachusetts. Haven't watched one of their matches. I can't say anything about them because I don't know anything about them. But anyway, folks, so World Cup's coming up. Yeah, I have a feeling my wife's going to get tired of me real fast. But we'll see. Spain, go for win it a second time, please.